The depressed conference. That's the focus of tonight's angle. When President Trump held a press conference, it was actually exciting TV. There were no-holds-barred brawls where Trump would take on the media, deftly swatting aside attacks and gotcha questions from openly hostile and arrogant reporters. There was never any doubt who was making the decisions in the White House and calling the shots.
Excuse me, you said where? From where?
North of Iraq. I'm a Kurd.
Good. Good.
Sir,
great people. They're
Mr.
great people. They're great fighters. I like them a lot. Should I let her ask another question?
Follow up on.
Go ahead. Steve, go ahead. He's a very high-quality person, this man, but he'll probably hit me with a bad one. I'll let you do it after he does. Is that okay?
That's
I will
perfectly
do that.
well.
In honor of a paper I once loved.
Thank you. We're kind of thriving, not failing these days.
You're doing very well.
Yeah.
Say thank you, Mr. Trump. I could be doing this all day long. Should we continue for a little while? It doesn't matter to me.
Oh boy, now contrast that with what we saw from Joe Biden today.
That it used to be that the existence of a filibuster, but it's not my expertise. I started to deal with it back when I was a United States Senator. Vice President. If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, okay. Hang on. Sorry. Oh, Seung-min, Ms. Kim.
Oh. Well, the White House used the excuse of COVID, of course, to limit the number of reporters in attendance. Never mind that they could have held the event outside in the Rose Garden, wouldn't have had to worry about any of that. And of course, Biden's handlers didn't dare open the president up to a question from our own Peter Doocy. So this is basically a continuation of Biden's basement strategy on the campaign trail. Limit the off-the-cuff interactions, keep them on the note cards, stay away from numbers unless perfectly scripted.
One final note. Since we passed the American Rescue Plan, we're starting to see new signs of hope. I had a card on this. I was going to give you the statistics. If they choose to escalate, we will respond accordingly. But I'm also prepared for some form of diplomacy.
Now, what he failed to mention, of course, is that those were overwhelmingly Democrat efforts to stop Republican legislation. In fact, Democrats notoriously held up the 1964 Civil Rights Act with a record-setting 60-day filibuster. Biden also seemed to have trouble with his volume control.
The federal budget. It's kind of amazing. When the federal budget is saving people's lives, educating the American public, the Republican voters I know find this despicable. Hardworking people and people struggling to get in the middle class. They built America, and unions built them.
Build them. Well, and like your grandparents, he kept getting sidetracked by the same stories he's told a million times before.
When my great-grandfather got in a coffin ship in the Irish Sea, the expectation was he going to live long enough on that ship to get to the United States of America. But they left because of what the Brits have been doing.
Oh, yeah. Guatemala, 2021, and Ireland, 1850. Total parallel there, Joe. Please. So I went away from today's depressor wondering just how much Biden really knows beyond those old stories. Ron Klain, his chief of staff, and his press people obviously did their best to brief him. They gave him notes to reference. But in the end, their true endgame became apparent. Sell Biden still as this sweet grandfatherly figure as they play the game of deny, deflect, delay, and distract from the crises that they have singularly caused.
How soon will journalists be able to have access to the facilities?
As soon as I am in a position to be able to implement what we're doing right now. And one of the reasons I haven't gone down, all my chief folks have gone down, is I don't want to become the issue.
Okay, just to be clear, how soon will that be, Mr. President?
I don't know, to be clear.